So the first one is internal rotation. So if you're standing next to the pole, make sure you roll your shoulders back and down. You want to watch for, in all of these exercises, you don't want your upper trap to engage. As soon as it engages, you're going to see this little divot right here and like the bump of the muscle. I don't know if you can see that, instead of this where it's flattened out. So if you're using your upper traps, you start to do this. So you want to try to use the lower trap and the rhomboids down here instead of contracting further up the back. So it's more back here in like the lower edge of your scapula. So roll the shoulders back and down, feel that engagement. Make sure you keep your elbow glued to your body. What you can do is put a towel, a rolled up towel between your arm and your body, and that'll force you to stay right there. So internal rotation is 90 degrees. You just grab the band, you're turning in, and then slowly coming back out. And that's it. You want to try to make sure that everything is completely immobile, and the only thing that's rotating is the head of the humerus inside your shoulder. I wasn't showing that well. So you want to just think of this part rotating, and that is going to be working those out. So it's helpful to have a mirror in front of you when you're doing these so that you can see if your upper trap is engaging, and you can just kind of watch your form and compare one shoulder to the other. So if you do this facing the mirror, it's probably best. So the next one's external rotation. Same idea, make sure your shoulders are back and down, upper traps are not engaged, shoulders and neck is not tense, and you just feel between the scapula and the lower edge rhomboids squeezing together. You can put that towel under there. Let me show that real quick. So this is too small, but I would ideally take a bigger towel. But you just can roll it up, put it under here, and that'll force you to keep your arm right there, thumb down. And this is the really important one. Make sure your elbow stays as close to your body as possible, otherwise you won't be working the right muscle, and you're just pulling it out and slowly coming back in. And you're going to feel this definitely. Usually people's external rotators are the ones that are weak. Again, you want to try to have everything immobile, and you're only rotating the head of that humerus in the joint. If you pull your arm out, you're going to start to feel more of like your triceps and stuff working, so make sure you keep that glued and you're just rotating out, squeeze between the shoulder blades, come back in. Other thing to watch out for is you can start to compensate by using the back muscles and kind of doing this a little bit, so make sure you keep your abs really tight so that nothing moves, just the arm, and you're going to feel the squeeze in the back. The next one are rows. Face the pole, or face where your band is. Again, making sure you keep the abs tight so you don't start to arch when you squeeze. I'll actually tuck under because I really have a tendency to use these big muscles here instead of the little ones in between, so I tuck under to make sure that I don't start to use these muscles to feel like I'm squeezing back. Grab them both. The height of the arms kind of depends. Ideally you're at 90 degrees, so parallel to the floor. You kind of have to play with the distance from the pole. I'm trying to stay in the frame, so we'll see. Here, let me turn this a little bit. So arms at 90 degrees, everything stays immobile, shoulders start in a nice position, not squeezing the upper traps, pulling, and you're going to feel the squeeze between the lower edge of your scapula to your spine. This one you really got to monitor not using the upper traps. It's really easy too. So you want to think squeezing in the lower portion of those shoulder blades without engaging your back muscles. I mean the lower back muscles. These next ones, I don't know what to call them, extended rows or something. So it's the same idea as this one, only you're going to have your arms straight out, so it's harder because your momentum, your arm is further away from your body, more resistance. Same thing, focusing on keeping the abs tight so you don't start to arch the back, shoulders back and down so that your upper traps are not engaged, grabbing long and then really focusing on squeezing between the shoulder blades. You always want to do these nice and slow, and control coming back so that you work the muscles eccentrically too. Next few exercises I'm using 3-pound weights. We're keeping the weights small because all of the rotator cuff muscles are supporting muscles. So if you use big weights, you start to use different muscles instead of those. If you don't have 3-pound weight, You can use some soup cans. I think those are around 2 pounds, but that works too. So yeah, shoulders back and down, keeping the abs tight. We're going to do these thumb up only to 90 degrees. So you're just going up and back down and focusing on keeping the shoulder completely still as you do these. We're going to do that same thing out at an angle about 45 degrees on each side. So you're going up, down, and again, same thing, fully out to the sides. Keeping the abs tight, focusing on that shoulder, staying back and down, shoulder blades working. And we're only going to 90 degrees and keeping the thumb up position because that prevents impingement of the shoulder, which is often what causes people pain in their shoulders. So these next couple exercises you can try, and if they start to make your shoulder hurt, you probably have an impingement problem. So these are more for your delts. And it's the same thing, only you're doing it thumb in this time. So this is going to get your more like the top anterior delt, raising it straight forward, and then you can do the same thing to the side to get middle delts. And then to the back, I tend to kind of lean forward and then raise behind me. You want to be careful that you don't drop your shoulder so that you can raise the weight higher, so you're still keeping it back and down, abs tight, and just squeezing as far as you can go, which is probably going to be a little small range. You can also do kind of that same, the rows that you did with the exercise band. You can do them with the weights. So you bend over, making sure you keep the abs tight, shoulders back and down, and then you're squeezing between the shoulder blades, doing these that way. This next one's probably my favorite just because you can really feel the burn in the shoulder blade. So you're going to start with your arms at 90 degrees parallel to the floor, and you want to really focus on keeping that shape so your elbows don't move in space. You only rotate around the elbows, shoulders back and down, obviously, and then you just squeeze it up and come back down. And you're going to feel, I've just been doing my exercises and it's already burning. You feel that squeeze right underneath the shoulder blade. One thing to keep in mind is that you don't want to do these exercises before you get on the pole. You can do like a couple of each exercise just to kind of get those muscles warmed up, but you don't want to do a full like set of them before you get on the pole, because at that point they're all tired out and they won't be able to support you anymore. So try to do them independently of your pole work. I do 3 sets of 15 repetitions for each exercise, and it probably takes me, I don't know, at least a half hour to do them. You really have to set aside time to do it after, you know, whatever else you can do it like after your pole workout, for example, and you'll really feel it. They're just good all over strengtheners. My shoulder feels more stable after I've done it like tighter and better put together. So try that. It's 3 sets of 15 or just to exhaust. A couple more things. Bina put up a video a long time ago of I's and Y's is the name of the exercise. You can lay down on like an exercise ball if you have one of them, one of these guys, or just even on the floor or on a, I think she's like on a bench or something, and basically you're laying down and then you just lift your hand overhead, that's the I, and then you do the Y, and then you do the T. It's basically the same ranges that we're working in here, only in overhead ranges. Those are additional exercises. Also, what I've been doing that I think helps me a lot is I'm doing consecutive, just the pull up from a climb. So like you put your leg up as if you're going to climb, and just actively thinking of your shoulders pulling back and down as you pull up, so that you feel your back muscles working, because it's really easy to use your front muscles when you're climbing. So doing a few of those in a row kind of helps you remember to activate the back muscles when you're climbing so that you're not stressing your shoulders as much.